What is up, guys? This is Chris with Chris Does Fish, and today we're going to do something that I've been waiting to do for a long time now, and that's design, build, and install a Fishfinder on my kayak. So if you're like me and want to peel back the cover on that water and see exactly what's beneath my boat, then stay tuned and I'm going to help you out. So if you're anything like me, you've been doing a lot of research on your Fishfinder over the last few months. And I've been finding a lot of information between different brands, different models, different head units, different transducers, different placements, different mounting systems, and there's a lot of different information out there. Most videos I find are either in one of two distinct categories, either very basic builds that are step-by-step but don't go into a lot of depth, which are helpful. The other group being very advanced builds that have a lot of bells and whistles, but it's really more of a here's my finished product and isn't it cool? Those videos are also amazing because they've given me a lot of inspiration to what I'm going to do in my build. But I want to do a little bit of a mashup between those two and really do an advanced build, but bring you along step by step and not leave any gaps in the build process. So this is going to be a three-part series, hopefully a three-part series. The first is this, and I'm going to unbox the actual Fishfinder that I bought. In the second set, I'm going to show you the design and actually build the battery box to my unit, the meat and potatoes, the thing that powers the whole system. And then in the third video, I'm going to install both the battery box and the head unit on my kayak. So without further ado, let's just keep going. Let's go check out my Fishfinder unboxing. Hey guys, and welcome to my workstation. I wanted to show you the unboxing of the actual Fishfinder I bought. It is the Garmin Striker Plus 4 CV. It includes the transducer. I got this on Amazon, and with it I actually got the faceplate for $5. They have a protective Garmin faceplate that goes on the head unit, and usually they're about $15, but the company was doing a special where you get the actual Fishfinder, you get the faceplate for $5. So I took advantage of that. It worked out pretty well. So here's the unit. I'll just go over the basics. It is a Garmin series, so all the Garmin products, even the most basic Fishfinders, include some level of GPS. So these are going to have waypoint tracking, so I can set a waypoint and navigate to it. I also can do chart plotting, and it will store upwards of 2 million acres, is what they said, of charts, up to a 1 foot depth gradient. So I can see up to 1 foot what the depth is and save that information for later use, which is really handy. Now, this is the Striker Plus series. I'll show the box to you. This is the Striker Plus series. So what this has in the Plus series, the screen is a little bigger. It goes from like a 3.8 to a 4.3 inch screen, and the screen has it's better able to handle the glare. I don't know whether it's aspect ratio or whatever it happens to be, but it can handle the glare of a full sunny day a lot better than the older units. So that's the Striker Plus series. It is the 4-inch model. That's where the 4 comes from. It's a 4.3-inch screen, and it's a CV. So this is a clear view monitor. So this is a clear view transducer. So it has 3 different wavelengths. It has the traditional chirp frequency. It is a high frequency chirp, which is a slightly narrower beam but is more clear. And then it has the clear view frequency, which obviously this is just a demo, but it gives you an exact image of what is below you. So you can see if there's structure, you can see rocks, you can see all sorts of different things. You can see gradients and actually see the type of structure that you're fishing over, which is very helpful. And what's cool about the Striker series is that you can dual screen anything you want. So if you want to do the clear view traditional sonar, you can do that. If you want to do traditional sonar and a map, you can do that. If you want to do the map and the clear view like it's showing, you can do all of that with the Garmin series. It's got all those things already built in, which is really nice. So let's get started with the opening, just without any further ramblings. So at the very beginning, we have the face unit. Again, a 4.3-inch screen. It's fairly narrow. I haven't taken the plastic off. I'm gonna keep that until the very end and not take the plastic off. We'll go over all the buttons and functionality on the water at some point, but the screen's pretty easy to use. There's not a ton there's a lot of options, but not too many that we can't figure it out. Let's see if I can show you this right there. Let's see if that's focused. Yeah, it's pretty focused. So there's 2 dots, those 2 holes, those are the power units. There's one, it says for the left one is for our transducer, and the right one is actually for the power, the main power. This big circle right here is the connector for the base plate. So we'll look at how that connects here in a bit. Let's go ahead and put this in, get it out of the way. Let's put this over here. Everything else, there's a lot of stuff in here. Most of it has to do with the transducer. It comes with actual paper transducer amount instructions. I wish it had other instructions, that's one negative, but you can find all the directions on their website. There's different user manuals, they just don't print them out anymore, which does make sense in the 21st century. I guess while we're looking at major parts, the head unit, this is the power cord for the head unit. This is the style of plug. Let me see if I can get that to focus for you. Nope, that way, maybe. There we go. Either way, this is the power cord for the actual unit. A lot of people do wish that it screwed in and it was a screw lock system, which I can understand that logic. Although at the same time, if something was happening and my battery box was sliding, I don't think I would want the actual connection to hold the whole unit together. I would want the cord to pop off and not potentially break off inside my head unit. So I think that would be a problem more so than it disconnecting. I've tried this a few times, and if you push it really far in, I can actually hold the head unit up by the cord. So these rubber rings do connect pretty well and keep water out. So I'm pretty happy with it so far. Let's see, next step. When I got to the actual wiring, I was freaking out because everything I've read is red and black, 2 cords. But then it comes with a blue and a brown cord that they don't really give you. Again, there's no directions in the box. Well, when you go online, what you see is that these are actually for data transmitting, so you can share waypoints with other Striker units. If you're not going to use this, I don't see where I would use it very often. They say to cut them out and or remove them. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to cut them really short and probably put a little bit of electrical tape on them so that way they don't really they don't spark or interact or anything like that. It has a built-in fuse, and when I first was looking, it says 30 volt and 32 volts and 30 amps on the fuse casing, but that's just what this fuse casing can handle. When you look at the sticker, see if it'll focus there. Yeah, there we go. When it focuses there, and I actually opened up the fuse to check. This is a 3 amp 250 watt or 250 volt fuse, and that is what's actually in here. So at the end of the day, the head unit or the whole Fishfinder should be pulling about 3 amps, excuse me. Ooh, it's late. So this whole unit should be pulling about 3 amps from your battery of choice. So let's go ahead and put that aside for now. The next thing we see is the transducer. So this is what gives us all of our information. So it's pretty big. You can see it's pretty much almost the size of my hand. So it's a pretty large transducer. It's not it's small. It's not really small, and it's got some bulk to it. It's pretty heavy. I'm gonna wait to tell you how I'm going to install this. But there's, especially in a kayak, there's a couple of different options. But yeah, we'll go over that later. Next in the box, this is the mount. This is a mounting plate for the transducer. Basically, there's a bunch of holes fit right here. So you can see this. If you were going to mount your transducer underneath on the keel or underneath, there's all sorts of places you can put it on a boat. The biggest thing with this for our kayak fishermen is if you were going to be putting this on either a side arm or if you were doing this on a scupper mount, like Lowrance makes a scupper mount, and this will fit the Lowrance scupper mount thing. But if you're going to do a scupper mount, you would use this. It's got 5 screws that hold it in real tight. So that is what this is for. On top of that, I'll just go ahead and put the transducer down. This is a plate to put your transducer in. This just fits on top. There's a little place to clip the wires. And this is what actually attaches to your boat or the scupper mount or whatever you happen to be doing. So this way your transducer can angle it whatever way you need it to. Let's see, go ahead and move these out. Again, just some different things for attaching it. There's this really large plate which is designed to go on your transducer. And if all else fails, they give you a giant metal screw lock ring and some zip ties, because nothing else will work. Zip ties will hold it together. So that is always an option we cannot rule out. The last thing I guess we should talk about is how we mount the faceplate. So that is this kiddo right here. This is the faceplate, or the actual Fishfinder head unit mount system. So there is a large circle that actually clips in to the back. Let's see if I can show you this. It just slides in here and then clips in. So you push this button right here to dislodge it, and then just push it down to lock it in place. It's pretty easy to take off, but it's very secure. It's just easy to take off, which is a good combination of things. So we can just lock it in place, and then it will move as needed to different positions. Then let me show you the faceplate. So this is the actual base plate that attaches to whatever hard surface you're attaching your faceplate to. There are 3 screws. I can go ahead and show you that. Yep, there are 3 screws here that get screwed into, and those are included, I should say. There are 3 screws that go into whatever surface you're going to be screwing it into, and then these grooves, they just, go ahead and show you, they just clip in, and then once it clips in, you can move it. So if it's mounted here, you can angle it out, and then rotate it whichever way you need. All right, the rest of it is just a couple of screws and nuts and bolts and basic attachment devices. So that is it for the Garmin Striker Plus 4 CV. I'm just going to put all this stuff back in the box so I don't lose any of it. All in all, I'm really happy with it so far. We'll see once it gets up on the water how I like it, but I think I'm going to be very happy with it so far. That didn't work very well. All right, so without anything else to go, the next video that we're going to be looking at is me turning this Pelican case into my battery box. I'm going to put a battery. It's going to be an all-in-one setup. There's going to be the battery, the tender, the charging port, the different plugs. Everything is going to be in this box, so I never have to open this again. Once the battery's in there, it can charge. I'm going to have a meter on it, so that way everything is completely secure and away from water, and I can power this guy for a long time, and anything else that I really want to power, I can just use this box. So until next time, my friends, tight lines, best of luck out there. Have a great day.